a lot of my classmates went straight to big papers. How do I put this? Unfortunately got married and stayed in Ohio, where I worked at the Plain Dealer and, several smaller papers. And it was, and then I found a way to get to the Providence Journal. And that was just a really fantastic paper with really great writing. It was, geez, I don't know offhand the era of the new journalists, but by then there was a lot of narrative, a lot more writing, from the Woodward and Bernstein era, from the Watergate era. That's when, a lot more educated people with college degrees and specialties came into journalism, and it had been a very blue collar, very ham and egg, as they said, kind of style of storytelling. And so it was just a wonderful experience. I had a blast at the Providence Journal covering the Navy, the Newport Rich, and organized crime. And I covered a lot of crime and legal matters throughout my career. And that really was a specialty and investigative focus. I'm very safe in saying I've spent a lot more time in courtrooms than most lawyers. And so it also built on my knack or life experience of as an observer. As the youngest of four, I observed my siblings go through the Vietnam era and the rise of feminism, and I was always an observer, always weighing things. And so it really was and I'm incredibly curious, so it was a nice segue into the field that I have loved all my life. And I also with covering courts and crime, you're sizing up credibility. You're sizing up why is this believable? What is the backup? And it gets you into a linear thinking that's really a great build for writing. But I was always in sort of the facts assembly. I didn't have as much of faith in my voice or writing until I got to the Providence Journal. And actually, it was really interesting because a seminal time was writing this magazine story about my cousin Sam, who I had only gotten to know after I got divorced and my career started to take off. So I was in Providence and I was at a speech by Elie Wiesel, and he said, "We have to listen to the survivors." That was a time when no one was talking about the Holocaust. Survivors hadn't been talking. And it was in the 80s that the Holocaust miniseries came out, and the term even got into our lexicon.